I'm Josh Charles with the Traders Corner. Today we have a different video where we're actually going to be going into looking at a conversation that Daniel, myself, and a friend of ours, Odie, we all had around building a bot in Quant Connect, and this is basically an options trading bot. So I hope you enjoy it. It'll provide some value to you guys, and join us for next time.
Kind of next steps for, because basically right now I have, like I said, I have the covered call bot essentially executing as I want it to execute. Not essentially, it is executing as I want it to execute, but it's essentially quote unquote done besides the universe selection element of it. And then if we add that like put call, of the S&P type thing element of it, like we talked about last time, to it as well, there would be that add. But it's essentially done is what I meant to say. But besides talking about kind of next steps for adding that, I wanted to talk about kind of the idea of like constructing like a portfolio of strategies, kind of like going off of what I sent you like this weekend from that podcast from that dude I was listening to. And he was kind of like saying something similar. And so I've, been, and as well, kind of along those lines, he was saying like, and this kind of goes in line with like just building a strategy in general, like an algorithmic strategy in general, like keep it simple, because that's, if you make it way too complicated, add too many parameters, that's when you start to get into the good possibility of overfitting. So that being said, I wanted to talk to you about, not only just options, strategies and stuff, but like, kind of thinking about things that we could layer into a portfolio in terms of a strategy, in terms of strategies, not a strategy, in terms of strategies, and kind of like running those strategies all together. You see what I'm saying? Like, kind of like not turning one off and turning one on, but like this one's running over here, this one's running over here, and like this one's supposed to be making more money, and this one's not making as much money. So, yeah, kind of along those lines, I've been working on just kind of a very simple, just long call bot, right? And just like I said, just a very simple bot, and just kind of looking at pairing that with maybe some other option strategy. So, yeah.
It's put to okay, and then
because like that's what I was talking about as well, as looking at the put call ratio,
Yeah.
And if it's above or below a certain level, don't fuck around with it because, yeah. Okay. So we could look at that as well in terms of a data provider.
So I actually do use the put call ratio thing too, and what I use it as for is like, I don't necessarily like the number that it is specifically doesn't necessarily bother me, but it's like the change between it and the last number. So if the put call ratio goes from 0.5 to 1.2, you know what I mean? Like if the puts just like really overtake the calls, you know what I mean? Like that would be like a bearish sign for me, you know what I mean? Or like vice versa, like if the put call ratio goes from 1.5 or 2 all the way down to 0.7 and 0.6, that would show me that like the call volume is overflowing the put volume at that time.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good way to think about it as well, in terms of like the change, the delta of it, not just the, what the number is today, which that would just kind of be taking a rolling average and calculating that, for a certain number of days looking back. Yeah. Which we would have to probably do some research on. Probably would want to just arbitrarily decide that.
So this would be for securities already within our universe, or this would be in order to get into the universe?
I was thinking about that today too, and just in terms of the order of the bot. Like, honestly, I think it should be securities. Like, do any securities even match our universe criteria? Then, okay, should we even be trading today? So that's when we look at it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or, to me, it doesn't hurt to go the other way either. Because it could be like,
that's what I'm saying.
Should we be trading today? Should we even spend time trying to find securities that are in our universe? That type of thing. Because like if we decide early on, actually, let's go with the way I said it the second time. Because if we decide early on that we shouldn't be trading, then the bot doesn't have to go through a bunch of bullshit every day that it doesn't need to go through.
Yeah, but it's gonna do it automatic. Like it does it like that anyway. So like it's not really a thing.
I mean, so again, I say I don't think we could go wrong either way. I think we just gotta make a decision. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. And I honestly, like as we add it on, we just go with whatever's easiest in terms of adding on the code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if for some reason, like, because you know, like you might have to assign something here, assign something there, put something in this function and that function. So it's like, if it needs to be above it, then we can just put it above it. You know? So. All right.
So like, I don't know you all's trading bot strategy, but like, you know, I don't know if you all are like trying to swing trade with the bot, if it's going to be like day trading, you know, getting into leaps or things of that nature, or all of the above. But
I would assume it would be swing trading.
It's day trading.
Oh, it is day trading?
Swing trading provides, you can't like, I was listening to this guy who's like really big into quants and stuff like that, and he was like, if you're looking at a quant, you want a day trading bot, because that's when you know if you have a real alpha, if you have a real Sharpe ratio. Because like a swing trading bot's not going to provide you enough of a sample size to like truly prove that you have alpha, you know. I think we know what we want to go with next in terms of the bot. So, yeah, what are we going to do in terms of working on this shit? What's the plan, my man?
Still for me, it's the scraping, because I've been doing the course stuff.
Okay, that's fine.
I
Yeah,
haven't
let's
looked into
get the scraping done. Let's get the scraping done first. Like we have to do anything that we're talking about. Well, let me ask you this too, and I can work on it along with you. But could you take a crack at looking at like the universe too, as well? You know, like adding that.
I have the documentation pulled up right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and just like again, like just go work off like the GitHub that I put in. It should be on your covered call template. Should be the most updated one. And then I'm also just working on like a long put bot as well. So I'm gonna put that up pretty soon as well, because it's actually been doing pretty decent in terms of back testing. Obviously, past performance is always, you know, but I kind of just want something that, because a covered, like we talked about this before, we personally can't really run a covered call, you know what I mean? Except on a few stocks, and you know, the stocks that I could run a covered call on don't really have the options liquidity to make it worth it, you know, to write that call. So yeah, this would kind of be something where we could like run the bot like on our personal accounts type thing with the long calls, just because, you know, I'm sure I have to explain to you guys, long call, the thing you give up is the fucking, like your max loss is whatever you give up to make the trade. So, you know, yeah. And it's using like I think it's not using a large amount of risk at all. So yeah. So that's the options bot and shit like that. In terms of taking it live, I have my interactive broker set up and everything like that, but I also completely forgot that Quant Connect has its own paper trading thing. I'm probably just going to take it live on the Quant Connect paper trading thing first, and then I'm going to connect it to interactive brokers just because I still want it to I want to see how it works with like not Quant Connect paper trading, you know, like a real broker. But I also don't want to spend too much time doing back testing on a bot, as forward testing is much more important. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing next in terms of like taking it live. But I'll probably just take it live on one thing, like Microsoft or whatever the fuck, you know, just pick a stock. Just to, again, the point of me taking it live this early is just to see how the execution goes, see if it's executing the same way as it is in the back test and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's basically it for the options bot. I think that's